What's up, guys? I didn't expect to do a video this soon after the last video. I usually don't make so many videos one after the other. I try to do videos when I have something to say. And the good thing is that I have some positive news concerning the career mode for NASCAR Heat 2. And 704 released a developer diary. And there's also an article, thanks to one of the guys who put it in the comment section. I checked it out. I do suggest you guys go to the site and read the article before you watch the video, because the article is actually more descriptive about what's coming with career mode than the video itself. So read the article and then watch the video, and hopefully you guys will be excited like I am. So I wrote down a few of the main topics of the video, so I'm gonna get into that. The first thing is contracts. Yes, we've always pretty much had contracts and that kind of deal, but I like that stuff. You sign with certain teams and sponsors, and you have certain criteria to meet, things like that. That's always a must in any career mode of a sports game, and I like stuff like that. So that's in the game. I like the fact that you can drive multiple series, at once. Probably not every week. They did mention that it's according to schedule, so when the schedule allows it. And you can move up pretty much when you want to, right? So if you want to stay in the truck series or Xfinity, you don't have to move up. It's up to you. But the fact that you move up doesn't stop you from racing in these other series, and I like that. So that if you move up to Monster Energy Cup, you don't have to be like, oh, I can't race trucks anymore or Xfinity. You still have those options, and I love that. Always give players options. Don't ever lock people into a spot where they have no choice, because choice is good, and different people play the game differently. And I definitely want to move up to Monster Energy Cup as soon as I can, but still be able to race these other series. And I like the freedom of that. So that's another good thing. Now, here's something that surprised me, and this is what I like. I want to hear some surprises, things I was not expecting. And I definitely was not expecting rivalries. We haven't seen rivalries since EA, I believe 2006. And I love this. I mean, this is awesome because it makes the AI, it breathes some life into it. And, these guys aren't just robots. If you have problems with somebody on the track, it can come back to bite you. These guys, they may try to take you out, stuff like that. I love that idea, and I was not expecting that. So that's a pleasant surprise. I like that stuff. And here's something else that I really like, and this is why I tell you to read the article, because they get into more detail. And this is what I love, because this is exactly along the same line of thinking that I have. And if I worked at 704 and I was like in charge of development, and and we were talking about this rivalry thing, the first thing I would say is, I love the idea, just make sure it's not overdone and it's not too in your face, because it can get old and it can become annoying, right? It can actually have a bad effect and ruin the experience if every time you're near someone that you had a problem with, he's going to try to take you out. So you can't overdo it. And in the article, that's exactly what they said. They said, we want it to be subtle. We don't want you to have to constantly worry that there's always going to be an issue, and that it's not always going to be there in your face. You never know. And that's what I like. The fact that you don't really know, and you still got to kind of mind the way you drive. And if you drive like a jerk, it's going to come back to haunt you. And also they mentioned in like Talladega and Daytona, places where you get big wrecks, and some of these wrecks are not your fault. You don't want to worry that, oh, a bunch of guys that I got collected in a wreck with are automatically going to have a rivalry with me. And they talked about that. So I love that. This is, smart thinking. This is exactly the way I would tell these guys. Just make sure it's subtle. be careful how it's implemented so that it's not constant and it doesn't grow old, and it's something that's in the back of your mind, but you don't really know. It's not. I don't want it to be too predictable. So I love that. Um, Another thing, the way that you build your teams and improve the performance of your cars, they said they kind of sounds like they're scrapping last year's system, right? Where you kind of just pick each category and then you build off that. It's like it's it's felt hacky, you know. It doesn't really feel super immersive. And the way they talked about now is that the performance of your team and the performance of your cars get better depending on momentum. So if you're running well week after week, you're gonna get better. Your team's gonna get better. The cars are gonna get better, right? Because of momentum. And obviously, if you don't perform well, it's gonna take longer for that to happen. I like that. Um, Even better, another thing I didn't think about, but this is another good idea. Taking care of your equipment, it's important. If you're just out there as a wrecking ball to pass people, not only are you going to build rivalries, but you're going to bring back wrecked cars to the shop. And now your team's going to have to focus on fixing the cars instead of working on performance. So you're hurting yourself if you drive like a jerk. And I love that. That's innovative. It's a great way to address this team building thing. I love it. That's a great idea. I didn't think of that, but I like that. That you got to not only race, but you got to race smart, and you got to take care of your equipment, and that's realistic. You know, you want to take care of your equipment because it's an expense for the team, and it takes time away. If they got to fix wrecked race cars, they're not going to have as much time to tend to the performance of the vehicle or to improve the things they're doing. You know, like whatever it is, research and development, whatever the case is, you know, these teams have limited resources. And if you're focused on one thing, you can't focus on another. I love that. So that's another pleasant surprise. I like this stuff. And last but not least, the template system, right? That the car customization. Now, I want a paint booth, and I expect to get one next year. That's another story. But I like that they sort of this is a compromise, right? They gave us this template system, and I like it. And it reminds me a lot of the old EA Thunder games that you had a template, you could change the color of the cars, and you could put different sponsors on the car. And it gave you a way to customize cars even though you didn't have a full paint booth. And even though they couldn't give us a paint booth this year, they did the next best thing. They compromised and they gave this template system to us, and it really looked cool, to be honest with you, when they showed it. Go check out the video. It looks good. And you can do a lot of things. The one thing I didn't see, and it does concern me, it's not a huge deal, but for me personally, I like colored wheels. I want the ability to change the color on the wheels, and it just adds more. It multiplies how many combinations you can do to customize your car. And I like colored wheels. I don't like just having the black wheels. That's just a little thing. It's something personal, and it'd be so cool if they did have that in there. I didn't see it, and if they don't have it, I really hope they could patch that in somehow. You know, it's not the end of the world, but it's just something personal preference. But the template system looked good, and I liked it. So it's the next best thing. They couldn't give us a paint booth, but this was a good compromise, and this was a good decision on their part. So they knew, for whatever reason, they just couldn't focus on the paint booth, because I guess, you know, they did add a lot of stuff this year, which is good, and they still were able to at least give this to us. I can't argue with that. That's another good thing. This might be the most excited I've been for this game. With the career mode, that's what I really care about. And we finally heard some really good stuff about it. I hope there's more stuff in store, and I hope they release more information. But I gotta be honest, this is really good stuff, and it will affect the career mode in a positive way. So that being said, I really, I needed a pick me up, right? Because you guys know I've been a little down lately on this stuff, but I can't lie. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for me. I hope you guys were excited about this. This just looks like cool, immersive stuff. Um, I like it. Another thing I haven't mentioned from the last gameplay video in Mid Ohio was the spotter, and some people are not too happy with it. I gotta be honest with you. I like it. He's more talkative, and it seems improved. Uh, it wasn't always super accurate, but it does seem improved from last year. And honestly, I like a chatty spotter. You know, it's more realistic. These guys drive, and these guys are constantly hearing the spotter talk to them. So I like that. It's adds more immersion. Plus, I always drive in cockpit mode, so I don't know who's around me all the time. I need a good spotter, and it does look improved. I hope it's as improved as it looks in some of these videos. So that's something else I neglected to talk about earlier, but I like that. So what do you guys think of the information revealed? One last thing, I don't have a real schedule in terms of making videos. I just kind of make videos when I feel like I have something to talk about. And they released this information today, so I talked about it. But my plan is for this game, once it's released, I'm going to play it for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to do a review. Okay, so it's going to take 2 weeks, for those of you who care. But I want to make sure that I really spend time with the game, and I can talk about it honestly and know what I'm talking about. I wish I could get an early copy and really give you guys a review like the night before the game releases. I would love to do that, but that's not going to happen. So that's my plan. 2 weeks after release, I'll do a review. But here's the other thing. A week or two after that, I'm going to do a wish list video for the next game next year. And I know some of you guys are thinking, why so soon? I mean, if the game just comes out and then a month later you're going to do a wish list video, isn't that too soon? No, it's not. Because a year is not a long time. And I don't know when they're going to start developing the next game. But I want to make sure that I put my ideas forward so that we can get the message to them before they get deep into development of the next game. Because once that happens, it might be too late. They're not going to just change midway through development, change what they're doing to try to appease people. And I know that they're not going to just sit back and wait for somebody like me to tell them what I want in the game. That's not how it works. That's not how life works. That's not how business works. I know that. But at the very least, I want to make sure I give them the formula for what I think would be a great NASCAR game and what elevates this game to a level where we can finally stop talking about the old Thunder games and Dirt to Daytona, right? I want to get to that point where they can surpass those games and then set a new standard, right? And I think they can do it. I like everything I've heard so far. As far as the information they've released, I am excited about the game, right? In spite of areas that bother me, and I'm just being honest, right? But I'm still excited, and I love what I heard today and what I read. So that's what I'm planning to do. I'll do a review 2 weeks after the release, and then another week or two after that, I'm going to do a wish list video, and I'm going to keep it condensed. I'm not going to give like a million different ideas because, like I've told you guys, we got to focus on the main, most important stuff and try to have a coherent single message where we can all together agree, right? If you agree with my ideas. You may not like my ideas. I hope you do. I think you will. But then we can all agree and be like, okay, you know what, we all like this stuff and we want this, and then we can all kind of like send this to 704 and let them know that, hey, it's not just one guy who wants this. We all like this. We want this. Do what you can to put it in and work together, right? So I want to work with the developer in terms of letting them know what we want. And then maybe they can try to, like I said, they're not going to be able to just give us everything we want, but at least the communication's there. And I do give them credit for that. They haven't just hidden away like you Technics did. So credit where credit is due. But that's what I plan to do. And I don't want to wait too long. I want to make sure they get the message early so that when they sit down and say, okay, let's start developing next year's game, and they start making their blueprint of what they want to do with the next game, I want to make sure that we have a voice in that. And I do think you guys are going to like the ideas I have. So I'm going to do that about a month after release, because I don't want to wait. So what do you guys think about the latest developer diary, and all this new stuff for the career mode? I hope you're as excited as I am. And, you know, this is what I needed to hear. I like where they're headed. They are on the right path in spite of the issues that I do have with them, right? I'm not going to lie. But I'm not giving up. We're going to stay on it, right? And the reason that this game this year has so much of this extra stuff is because we do have constructive criticism and we do talk to them. So stop telling people not to complain, and it works. Believe me, it doesn't always go through, but every once in a while it works, and it even to an extent that they may not hear everything, but every bit helps. So any improvement that this game has is going to be due to us speaking out. One last thing, I do think I have enough to do a prediction video. I told you guys I'm going to do it. I did it last year. I just do it really out of curiosity. I just want to see how much of what I say turns out to be true. And last year, I do believe I called the video something about Nascar, Heat Evolution, what to expect. I do believe that was the title. And I talked about what I thought the game was going to be when it came out. And in all honesty, I do think that I got most of what I said was on point. Not everything, but that's why I do the video. You know, just out of curiosity, just for fun. So I'm hoping to do that tomorrow, if you guys are interested. So I think I have enough information. I think I got a good grasp of what this game is going to be. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video. What do you guys think about the information today? I look forward to your comments. Thanks for listening. Later.